This is You Don't Know Anything About Women, episode 14. I'm your host, Roy Calvin. Let's get into the first post. How come girls can just lose feelings? This has happened multiple times to me over the past few years. The most recent two stung the most. I went on a date with this girl and we had a really good time, and she was super touchy the whole time. We ended up at my place to watch a movie and made out for over an hour. And the second date we got a nice dinner, ice cream, and drove around and talked for well over 2 hours. It was literally perfect. A week later, she texts me saying she doesn't see it romantically and doesn't see the future. What the hell? Literally on our second date, she told me about her troubled past because she didn't want anything serious if I didn't know about it. How can she go from that to straight ending something so good in a week? It's been a few months since then. Is there anything I can do to get her back? Well, there's a lot of comments here telling you that it was only 2 dates and, you were too invested and she wasn't really, which is true. I totally agree with all those comments, actually. And you say it's literally perfect. I mean, yeah, it's probably perfect in your mind. I've had a lot of dates like that where they seem fine, but then the girl just doesn't want to meet again for whatever reason. It sounds to me that you haven't been on that many dates, which is fine. I mean, I'm here to help people, right? But for me, I've been on just so many dates that are, exactly like the one that you outlined. Just spending a long time together and everything seems fine. And then you ask them out again and they don't want to come out with you. And that's just the way dating is. It helps if you have more options, of course. Like the way you're talking seems like something I would do like 10, 15 years ago when I didn't have a lot of date experience. Because back then going on a seemingly good date just seemed like so hard. So when one actually happens, you're like, damn, that was amazing. And then you're really shocked when she doesn't come out on a date with you. But anyway, the stuff about you getting invested too fast has already been outlined in the comments. There's one blaring issue here that I didn't see anybody mention. So the first date, she ended up at your place, you're watching a movie, and you made out for over an hour. Okay. Then the second date, you go on a nice dinner, ice cream, drove around, and talked for well over 2 hours. You didn't explicitly say that in the second date she didn't come over again, but I'm just going to have to assume that she didn't come over again because you were driving around for a long time. So I never like to see this in my dates. The first date here, when she was over, you're making out for over an hour, I hope you tried to have sex with her. You definitely should have tried. And if she didn't want to, then that's all you can do. But I never like to see regression in my dates. And of course, I can only control my side. So from my side, there's never going to be a regression in the sense that like, okay, I got her over and we made out on the first date. Therefore, on the second date, I'm not even going to try to get her to come over at all. Like, no, that's never going to happen on my end. And I've had some girls do that to me before, and it's just the beginning of the end, where like they come home with me on the first date. And then the second date, they're like, no, well, I got to work tomorrow. And then there's been even a few like that I've tried on the third date just because, they were really hot or just had a really good connection with them. And again, on the third date, after coming home on the first date, on the third date, they're still like, no, I'm not going to come over tonight. And it's just the beginning of the end. You never want to see that. So always try to progress things. So the fact that she came over on the first date and then she didn't come over on the second date, that's a bad thing. I don't know if you tried to get her over and she said no or whatever, but you always have to try to progress things. And some people might tell you that that's literally the reason why she ended things. Like, I wanted to have sex with this guy, but he didn't even take me home again the second time. I don't think it's that simple, but I think it might be somewhere in the back of her mind. Like, I thought things were kind of progressing, but then he didn't even get me to come home with him. Like, if a girl's making out with you for over an hour, there is a small percentage of girls that are not ready to have sex at that point, but a lot of them are. So I think this whole sequence of events kind of screwed things up. You always want to be progressing things. And you ask at the end, it's been a few months since then, is there anything I can do to get her back? Now, most advice would probably say, no, you got to move on, just get over it, blah, blah. But I've said several times on this podcast, and it's happened for me in real life plenty of times, like, you gotta make the move and take that risk. Like, if this is something that you actually want, it's never gonna repair, or you're never gonna get her back if you don't take the step to send the message. And if you send the message or have a couple of messages back and forth and then invite her out and she says no, or she just ignores that message, well, that's all you can do. At least you tried. It's better to try and just know that you failed instead of wondering, oh, geez, maybe I could have gotten her back. I don't want you to regret this in a few years. So, by all means, in my opinion, just send a message and say what's up. It could go well, it could go nowhere, but at least you can say you tried. Let's go on to the second post for this episode. I keep taking her to the same coffee shop, and I don't know if that's weird now. So I've been seeing this girl for about 3 weeks, and honestly, things are going really well. We met on a dating app, and our first time was at this coffee shop near my place, and it just felt right. Good conversation, no awkward silences. She seemed into it. Here's where I'm probably messing up. Every date since then has been at the same spot, same coffee shop, same corner table. I get my Americano and she gets her latte and we just talk for hours. In my head, I'm thinking this is our spot now. It's nice having that consistency, like we have this little routine going. But last night when I texted usual spot, she replied sure, but something felt off about it. No emoji, just sure. Now I'm wondering if she thinks I'm boring or uncreative. She mentioned a ramen place a while back and I agreed it sounded good, but then just defaulted back to suggesting coffee because it's easy and I know we both like it there. I've got some money saved aside for actual date nights like nicer dinners or activities, but I guess I got comfortable with the low-key vibe. My buddy says I should switch it up before she gets bored, but also what if she likes our routine too and I'm overthinking this? Should I bring it up or just surprise her with something different next time? Am I killing the momentum here? I guess you know this girl's texting style more than I do, but just because she replied sure about something, I don't think that's a bad thing. That's fine. You say no emoji or anything, just sure. I mean, yeah, I guess if she uses emoji for every message, then that's not a great thing, but sure is not a bad message. That's great. She's willing to meet you, so I don't overthink that part, is my opinion. You say every date since then, 3 weeks ago, has been the same spot. I wonder how many dates that's been, but I definitely think you have to change it up. I doubt she likes the routine. Even me, I'm a huge fan of simple dates, but I don't think I've ever brought a girl to the same place twice. I also am just not a fan of these sitting across from each other talking for hours and hours. Like, that's fine the first or second date, maybe, but I definitely want to switch things up and do more fun things, more activities, things that take the conversational burden off of us and let us have some fun, and not be forced to converse the whole time. You mentioned you have some money for nicer dinners. Even that now is like, I wouldn't want to do that because you've just so many times been on this coffee date where, again, you're looking across from each other and talking. So go on an activity or something. Stop this coffee date routine. I think nobody likes monotony in the dating world or in their daily life, like everyone's daily life is full of monotony and getting up, go to work, come home. So I think girls really appreciate when you can cause some kind of fun disruptions. So, not coffee date every time. Oh, wow, he's taking me to do this activity that I've maybe never done before this night. That's great. So that's all I have to say about this post. With this girl right now, start doing something else. And in the future, don't bring them to the same place 2 times in a row. Okay, let's go on to the next post. Dating 2 girls, not sure how to even do this. I got out of a serious long-term relationship about 7 months ago and have recently started dating again. In the past, I've really only ever dated 1 girl at a time. It was easy, stress-free. If it didn't work out, it was fine. Recently, I had 2 first dates. Both great, both interested in me, and the feeling is mutual. One I met on a dating app. We talked for a long time and had a really nice first date. She likes a lot of the same stuff as me. Great career, funny, beautiful inside and out. Definitely relationship material, which is ultimately what I want eventually. She's a lot of fun and I enjoy her company. The other girl was a friend who I started getting closer with. We were both in relationships when we met, and things were just platonic, though I always found her attractive. Eventually, we both became single and started chatting one night, which led to a date that also went incredibly well. She basically checks all the same boxes as the other girl, but I've just known her for way longer. I'm not trying to jump the gun here, but there's definitely something there with both of them despite how fresh it all is. This is completely unknown territory for me. I want to play the field and have fun, enjoy myself and be single for once, but I also think these are great women and I'm not interested in playing games and hurting feelings. How would you handle this? There's a couple of things I want to point out here before I actually get into the advice of what to do with these 2 girls. First of all, you mentioned that you've really only ever dated 1 girl at a time, and if it didn't work out, it was fine. Well, that's good and all, but isn't it better if you have 2 girls and then if it doesn't work out with one of them, you still have the other one? It's not great if you only have one and it doesn't work out, which kind of foreshadows where I'm going to go with my advice on this one. I also just want to point out for all the listeners that, you see, this is what happens when your girlfriend has friends who are males. Now, nothing against this guy who wrote this post. This is fine. If you got a cute girl in your friend circle and she becomes single, then by all means, that's great. But guys out there, you don't want a girlfriend who has a bunch of male friends around. Because look how simple it can happen. We both became single and now we're dating. That's how quickly things can happen if your girlfriend is hanging around with a bunch of guys all the time. Like, it only takes one moment for a guy who maybe he's attracted to her, but he holds back because he knows that she has a boyfriend or whatever. But if this hypothetical guy has the feeling of, as soon as she's single, I'm going to go after her, that can change at any moment where, maybe she's not single, but he just sees this opening. Like, yeah, I'm going to go for her right now. And maybe she's into it, maybe she's not, but you don't want to put your girlfriend in those situations. So that's just something to look out for when you're looking for a girlfriend or whatever. You don't really want them to have a bunch of male friends, in my opinion, because, yeah, it just seems all innocent. Oh, he's just a friend. But then, if you break up and then a few months later she's with him, well, yeah, it doesn't really seem that innocent anymore. Okay, so let me get back into the advice for this actual post. Just keep dating both of these girls. Don't overthink it. This is a great situation you're in. Just keep dating them, see which one you like, keep them both around for as long as you can if you like both of them. Again, here on Reddit, the top comment is like, you can't deceive them into thinking you're exclusive. But my approach is more just don't bring up this conversation. I don't know, the exclusivity conversation gets talked about a lot on Reddit, but I just basically avoid having that with any girls because it's only going to lead to trouble, and I'm honestly trying to have my cake and eat it too. So if I have two nice girls around me who are willing to meet me and hang out and have sex, then I'm going to keep them around for as long as possible. Now, if you want to get really serious with one and you're thinking about things like marriage and stuff, then I totally get that. That's fine. Then by all means, at some point, you can break things off with the other one, of course. But for now, it seems like you're new to both of these girls. Well, one has been your friend for a while, but you're new to dating her. Keep them both around and see how it goes. You don't want to make a choice so quickly. I don't consider it playing games and hurting feelings at all at this point. Now, at some point in the future, maybe one of the girls will come to you and be like, hey, what is this? And are you seeing any other girls? And that's another conversation to have. But your question in your post that sums it all up, how would you handle this? I would keep things going as normal. You're not even doing anything wrong here. This is not even cheating. You're in a fantastic position that you got out of a long relationship 7 months ago, and you've already got two seemingly good girls that could be a future girlfriend for you. So let's keep it going. Don't rule them out. Don't make your choice so quickly. After a couple months of dating, you might realize, you know what, I don't really like this thing about this one. And you know what, this one over here, she has this really good thing about her that I didn't realize at first. So keep going. There's also a comment here from a girl saying, personally, if I find out on the second date or later that someone is still entertaining other women, I'm out. Don't bring up that conversation. Just keep things going. I don't know who these people are who just go on dates and talk about all the other girls that they're dating, or all the other guys they're dating for that matter. There's another comment saying that you got to have emotional responsibility. You're misleading at least one of them. That's absolutely not true. This is dating. And how many times have I read stories on this podcast where the girl is dating multiple guys and the guy finds out, which totally, if I'm that guy, I'm not down for that at all. But I also cannot fault the girl. Like, she's not doing anything wrong. It's just something that is a red flag for me, and I'm going to be out of there. But me, I've basically always dated multiple women at one time, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's even comments telling you, oh, you got to tell them straight up you're dating other girls. Absolutely not. Just keep going, my friend. Keep dating these two girls. Let's get into post number 4 for this episode. How do I follow up after she said she'll think about a third date without seeming desperate? Went on 2 dates with this girl and I thought they went really well. Good conversation, laughed a lot, she seemed into it. At the end of the second date, I asked if she wanted to do something next weekend. She paused and said, let me think about it and I'll let you know. That was 4 days ago and I haven't heard anything. I'm not sure if this is a polite rejection or if she's actually thinking about it. Part of me wants to follow up, but I don't want to seem pushy. Another part thinks that if she was interested, she would have said yes right away. I asked ChatGPT what to say, and it gave me this long message about respecting her space while expressing continued interest. Felt way too formal and like I was overthinking a simple text. Do I reach out or just move on? If I do reach out, what do I even say that doesn't sound needy? Has anyone been in this situation? What did you do? No man on this earth has figured out everything about women in every situation, and ChatGPT never will either, so there's no need to ask ChatGPT any more dating questions. I want to first address that at the end of the second date, you asked if she wanted to do something next weekend. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something that I've never done. I never ask at the end of the date if they want to go on a date another time, because I think it puts a lot of pressure on the girl. And it's not that I'm against putting pressure on girls in certain situations, but I think in that situation, asking that question, putting that amount of pressure on them kind of increases the chance that she's going to give you a false answer. Like, if she doesn't want to go on another date with me, I don't think she's going to say in that situation, no, I don't want to see you. I think if she wants to reject me, she's going to say something like she said to you, I'll let you know. Now, it still could be honest. She still might be thinking about it, or she might just be trying to play cool. She might actually want to go on the date and just doesn't want to say right away. But yeah, I avoid asking that question on dates. So again, I don't think it's 100% a bad thing, but just because I've had dating success and I've never asked that, it's something that I would never recommend doing. So it might be good to stop that in the future. I don't want to put them in a position where they have to lie to me. I just want to know right away if they're not going to go out. So, like, waiting a few days and then texting her, hey, are you free this day? And then seeing her reaction, that would be a better way to ask for the next date. Part of you wants to follow up, but you don't want to seem pushy. This goes back to advice I gave earlier in the episode about if it's something you want, you got to send that message. Again, just look at the two options here. Let's just assume that the girl wants to meet you again, okay? Because there is a chance of that. So option one is that you don't send the message, and she's a girl, so she's probably not going to take the initiative to message you, and you just never meet her again. Or the second option is you send her a message and she comes out with you. She agrees, says, yep, let's go out. So I think the choice is obvious there. Now, in that second option, sure, she could say, you know what, I don't want to see you again. Or she could just ignore your message. Fine, at least you have like a real answer then, instead of now you're stuck in this purgatory of, I don't know if she's going to come out with me again or not. These are the type of situations where I like to say, don't make up the girl's mind for her. Like, give her the chance. Ask the question directly. Do you want to meet again? Well, I mean, that's actually not a good way to word your message. You know, word it how you would a normal date. Hey, are you free on this day or this day? Let's meet up. And then she has the chance to answer. Don't make up her mind for her that she doesn't want to see you. Let's give her the chance. And I don't think that sounds needy at all. I probably would word it exactly how I just said, even though like you're kind of waiting on her answer because she said, I'll let you know. But girls say stuff and they forget how they actually said it. So, I mean, you can follow up and say like, hey, what about that date on this day that we talked about? Or you can just, start from scratch, like I said. Either way, if you want to go after it. Okay, we have time for one more post for this episode, and it's going to be a pretty quick one. Is Tinder pointless for seeking a long-term relationship? I use both Tinder and Hinge, but I'm wondering if I shouldn't bother with Tinder anymore. Is anyone on there even genuinely looking for a relationship anymore? I'm wondering if I'm wasting my time and should use other apps where intentions might be more wholesome. In other words, are any of you meeting serious people through Tinder? Now, I don't have to scroll down too far into the comments to see people saying Tinder's a hookup app full stop, but I don't think it's like that at all. I think basically all dating apps are the same. Maybe there's some ones that I don't know about that are different. But like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, it's all the same shit. And a lot of it is the same people on every app. So Tinder is the same in all those other apps in the fact that you can meet a girl from there. There's a lot of time wasters on there. Most girls that you talk to will not meet or not reply to you. It's all terrible using these apps. Some people, of course, can do better than others on them. I always recommend talking to girls in person, but I wouldn't say that Tinder is pointless for seeking a long-term relationship. Of course, you can find girls on there, you can get dates on there, but like I said, it's just a fucking slog. There's a lot of time wasters on there, so you got to put in a lot of effort to actually get what you want. And I've read posts on this podcast before of guys who say they've been using apps for like a year and don't get any dates. So it's fucking hard, depending on, numerous factors of how you look and your personality, I guess, and where you live and all that stuff. But it's not completely useless to search for a long-term relationship on there. My advice is that I wouldn't use that as my only avenue to find a long-term relationship. Again, if you're out somewhere and you see a cute girl, you should go up and talk to her, because that's really further than you can get on Tinder. Like, even if you match with a girl, in my experience and, other guys that I know, most will not even reply to you. But if you see a girl and you want to talk to her in person, at least you have a conversation. Now, assuming she replies to you and is down to talk for a couple minutes. But even just giving one line to a woman in real life, like, that's further than Tinder will bring you. Because a lot of the times I think they don't even read the first message because they just get bombarded with messages all the fucking time. But if you're there in front of her in person, at least you're a real human she can see. She might actually reply to you. But by all means, keep using Tinder, especially if you've gotten dates from it. You can find good girls on there, which kind of goes against my philosophy because it's not what I would recommend as the best place to find a long-term relationship. But yes, I would say there are girls on there looking for a long-term relationship. It's not a hookup app, and just the way that Tinder is marketed to girls, like, they're not downloading this app thinking, yeah, I want to hook up with somebody, in my opinion anyway. All these dating apps have effectively no competitive advantage against other apps. They're all the same shit. Okay, that's it for this week's episode. Make sure you check out the link in the show notes if you want to get in touch or support the show. I'll see you in the next one.